feeling into your body. So like maybe just kind of shake out or just kind of move whatever you need to move to find that perfect little spot. And then close your eyes. Begin to look inward. Tap into your breath. Maybe bring your shoulders away from ears. Unclench your jaw. Just allow your hands to maybe just palms facing down on your knees. Maybe even just kind of find that little swoop in your back, that nice alignment that feels like effortless. So maybe lift your chest up or snuggle, whatever you need to find that perfect little space there. And then begin to look inward, thinking about what you love about yourself. So that's your homework this week. And let's think about today's practice as an I love me practice. So that being the affirmation that you say to yourself over and over again. I'll offer it to you, and if you'd like to take it, then I encourage you to do so. If there's another affirmation that has worked better for you, then use that one. But maybe as you breathe in, you say, I love, and then as you exhale, you say me. So tapping into the breath, finding a rhythm, and repeating this affirmation as you breathing in and breathing out. If you haven't already, go ahead and seal your lips and feel the breath in the back of your throat. So almost like you're fogging a mirror, but your lips are closed. And it should feel like an ocean wave, almost like that sound. So inhaling, begin to extend your breath, and then your exhales to match your inhales. So inhaling for 4, and then exhaling for 4. And maybe it feels like this. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, I love. Exhale, me. We'll come back to that a lot today. And just feeling into it. I know, like, saying those words can be like, you're like, oh, this feels silly. So, saying it until it doesn't feel silly. I love and me. So inhaling and exhaling, finding the rhythm. Maybe you think about the things that you love about yourself. So I love cooking. I love my cooking. I love my artwork. I love my ability to run. I love whatever it is. It could also be a physical trait. So I love my eyes. I love my toes. Maybe even thinking about things in a way that is helpful. So I love my legs. They help me walk. They're strong. I can run. Just take a few deep breaths and think about a few of those things. continue to just have that just on the top of your mind. And as we start our practice, you can just tap into it maybe when things get hard, or if you have a moment to take some deep breaths, you can always tap back into that affirmation, I love me. And begin to draw circles with your nose. You can go from left to right or right to left. Either way, we'll do the opposite in just a few breaths. Maybe make your circles a little bit bigger. And if you feel a little squeaky part, stop. Maybe move your chin up and down. Feel into it. Allow it to maybe settle itself out. Do like one more circle, inhaling and exhaling, and then the opposite direction. So just gently warming up the spine, beginning with the neck. It's always good. And again, if you have a squeaky spot, going the opposite direction. Sit in it for just a breath. Feel it. On that next exhale, begin to move your torso forward, keeping your eyes closed still, and maybe to the side and to the back. So just making a little bit of a circle with your torso. Gently warming up the spine. And again, if there's a squeaky spot, just maybe sit in it and maybe like shift so it feels good. And begin to circle maybe a little bit larger. Inhaling as you rock back, exhaling as you rock forward. I love me. I love me. And then reverse direction. So same thing, opposite. You can find like a little bit of organic movement with your shoulders or your head. You can really get into it too. Whatever feels good here. Maybe even lean over enough to where one arm comes overhead. You could do that. So just finding just a little bit of space to just explore how your spine feels in this moment. Now find some stillness and come onto tabletop. Move your bolster or pillow out of the way. And in tabletop, I'd like for you to maybe just lean back onto your knees, spread your fingers, and then set your hands down. And then think about your shoulders over your wrists. So fingers are spread. Now, just being in tabletop, think about even like digging your fingers into the mat so you can see the whites of your fingers. Sometimes when you're in down dog, this feels really good and you can really engage your arms more. So that's a fun little trick that you can do. So lean forward over your hands, finding that stretch in the back of your wrists. Lean to the right, to the left, and find some stillness as you inhale and allow your cow to come out. So look up. Really open up those hips, stick them to the sky, and then exhale, cat, rounding your back, engaging your core, tucking your pelvis and your chin. Inhale, cat, or cow. Exhale, cat. And then finding that rhythm for yourself. So inhaling and exhaling. And if it feels good, you can try a barrel roll or a figure 8 with your spine. You can kind of sass your hips and look at them. That really warms it up too. So lots of different options to be playful and a little bit organic here. Now find some stillness. Press into your hands and tuck your toes. Lift your hips and your knees and find your downward facing dog. So tap into that finger grip we talked about just a second ago, and push into your hands, thinking about shoulders away from ears. So shoulders down and back, and then hips, bend your knees a lot, find that swoop in your back, and then extend your legs and press into your hands. Relax your neck, bend one knee at a time, walk your dog, feel into it. And then bend your knees a lot, and then find that swoop, and then settle into it. So really it's like a pelvis tilt, so that it's like you're coming up to like this inverted V shape. Relax your neck, engage your core here. On the next exhale, step your feet forward and find your forward fold. Take your feet a little bit wider than you normally would, and then bend your knees and allow your belly to like hang in between your thighs. It should almost feel like your thighs are like gripping onto your belly at first. And then bend one knee at a time. Maybe even lean to one side, lean to the other side. Exhale, fold, relax your neck. Really find that length in the back of your legs. Inhale, we rise, and it's a slow rise, one vertebrae at a time. Head comes up last. So once we're standing, tap back into the breath, the I love me affirmation. Bring your hands just down by your sides, palms facing up for mountain. And then find that perfect space for your feet. So right directly under your hips. Maybe try to widen your stance to see how that feels. Maybe even try to narrow your stance. And then to kind of be like Goldilocks and be like, what's the perfect size? What do I like for my feet to be? Find it. And once you found it, let's think about our toes. Let's even look down at our toes. We don't appreciate them enough. They do so much for us. Like, hey guys, lift up your toes and then plant them all down. Scrunch them, feel into the earth, lift them again, and then one at a time, set them down. Those 3 stepchildren, they don't like to go down one at a time. And then the big toe at the end. So lift all the toes and then lower again. Opposite, so big toe first, and then the 3 that'll just go down by themselves, and then your pinky. But toe dexterity, it's important because in these standing poses, having that strong base. And I mean, you're a runner, so you use your toes a lot. You don't even realize it. Now, begin to do some hip swivels, so just gently rocking your hips forward, back, side to side, and just feel how much, when you move forward, your toes just like grip into the mat automatically. They're there for you, man. Now find some stillness and try to stand perfectly still without moving. Maybe close your eyes, look inward, and just notice if you're moving or not. And you should feel that it's impossible. But your body has you, gravity has you, your feet have you. So let's just take a moment and just appreciate that. I love me. I love me for being able to stand here and do this practice. Now circle your arms up to the sky, bring your hands together in prayer, and let's forward fold all the way back down. And maybe you can take your feet wide if that feels good. And bend your knees, allow your belly to hang for a moment. And then on that next inhale, come up for your half lift. And let's settle in our half lift, thinking about that swoop in our back, that natural spinal alignment. Looking down, relaxing your neck. Your chin is lifted here. You're just allowing for your spine to be long. So really think about that length in your spine. And then just really sticking out your butt, so to speak. Thinking about your spine, kind of just finding that alignment. Shoulders down and back, maybe hands come to thighs. And yeah, that looks good, Michelle. On that next exhale, go ahead and lower all the way down. Find your forward fold. And inhale, we rise all the way back up. Find your prayer or your hands to touch. And then exhale, forward fold all the way back down. Inhale, we rise for our half lift. Exhale, fold all the way back down. Inhale, flat back, rise all the way back up. Hands to touch. Exhale, fold all the way back down. Inhale, rise, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, flat back, circle arms, palms to touch, and then bring them to your heart center. Take a couple of deep breaths here. You can take a sip of water, whatever you need. But those are the half salutes, half sun salutations. Let's find that standing pose. And inhale our arms all the way back up, palms to touch. Exhale all the way back down for our forward fold. Inhale, we rise, half lift. Exhale, take our feet as wide as the mat and plant our hands, almost like all the weight is in our hands. And then bring your right foot back, left foot back. And then set your knees down. And let's hold in plank for a breath. Engage your core here, lean forward, relax your neck. Lower down an inch and press back up. Lower down an inch and press back up. One more inch, press back up. These are called push-ups. And then elbows in, chaturanga. Halfway, keep your hips where they're at, and then press up for upward facing. In your upward facing, think about how your back feels. So if it feels good with your hips on the ground, keep them there. If it feels good, keeping them halfway up, engage your core and lift your hips a little bit so you're not going as deep. If you're deep, if you're in it, and it feels good, press into the tops of your feet to really turn on your legs. This will make your stretch even deeper. Think about shoulders away from ears, looking up. And then exhale, come into child's pose. So toes to touch, knees wide. And let's just lengthen the back after doing that deep stretch. Forehead to the ground if that feels good. Or you can bring your fists right under your forehead and allow your forehead to just be on your fists. Take a couple of deep breaths here. Thinking about lengthening your spine. So if you're feeling the length, that's what you're going for. And then on that next exhale, pressing your hands into the mat. Exhale, tuck your toes and bring your hips to the sky. finding your downward facing dog. Here, let's think about our hands. So spreading our fingers, digging our fingers into the mat, shoulders away from ears, engage your core, relax your neck. Go ahead and walk out your dog. And then bend your knees a lot and find the swoop in your back and then extend so that it's even more of a deeper stretch. Heels don't need to be on the ground. The goal here is to really feel it in the back of your legs and finding that perfect alignment in your back. Walk your feet forward to the top and find a halfway lift. Exhale, we fold. Inhale, we rise all the way to the top. Bring your hands together to touch. Exhale, find your heart center. And take a couple of deep breaths here. I love me. So that was full sun A. Let's do that again. Inhale, circle arms up to the sky. Palms to touch, exhale, all the way forward fold. Inhale, we halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands, step your feet to the back of the mat. Plant your knees if you'd like, or keep on your toes. Lower down, halfway. Keep your hips where they're at, and inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing. Tuck your toes, lift your hips. Think about that swoop in your back. Take a deep breath here, and then exhale, walk your feet to the front of your mat. Inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, we rise all the way to the top, hands to touch. Exhale, bring your hands to your heart center and breathe. One more time, circle arms up to the sky. Exhale, fold all the way back down. Inhale, rise halfway. Exhale, plant palms on the ground. Step your feet back. Lower knees are on toes. Lower down halfway, sit there. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take a deep breath here. I love me. Step your feet forward. Find your halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise with flat back, hands to touch. And your hands to heart center. All right. Inhale, circle arms up to the sky, hands to touch. Exhale, fold all the way back down. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, plant hands on the mat, step feet back. Plant knees, lower down halfway for chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing. Plant your left foot to the middle of the mat, right foot up to the sky. Now, here's the thing. Thinking about your hips aligned. So right hip in line with left. Hips are down. Toes are down. Leg is straight. So legs should be in line with your back. Create some space with your back by lifting up. So your head might be between your arms. Lift that up, lift your chest up, lean forward, bend your knee, and then move your foot forward all the way to the front of your mat. You can set your back knee down, and let's find a low lunge. So your hands are down. You can bring them to your thigh of your right leg. Think about knee in line with ankle and lean forward here, finding that space to press your hips down. And you might even notice, like, as you lean forward more, your toes will grip into the mat more. Think about the back foot pressing the top of the foot into the mat as well. So just using all of your places to find your balance, engage your core. If you can, lift your chest up, maybe even look up that's too much, look forward. And then you might find you've lost your balance. Now press into your right foot and kind of lean your hips back so that the right foot straightens, the right leg straightens, and then flex your foot. Find a micro bend in that right leg. Hips are back, and this is half split. So you can keep your hands on the ground or maybe on your shin if you feel stable enough. If you've got a block, you can set them on a block to bring the ground up higher. Whatever feels good here. So allowing for the back of your leg to really find a stretch. This is great for after a run. And then on the next exhale, go ahead and lean forward. Find that low lunge again. And then inhale, we rock our hips back. And find that half split. And then let's just find a little bit of a flow with it. If you'd like to include your arms, you can lift them as you come into low lunge. And then on that exhale for half split, come to the ground. So lifting on low lunge, exhaling, half split, bringing your hands to the ground. And then one more time, and bring your leg around once you've finished, and sit back on your heels for a moment. And just feel the difference in your legs. So you stretched out your right leg, and you're like, wow, that might feel a little different. Then bring your left leg forward to find that low lunge. You could bring your blocks by you if you'd like. And then press into this posture, finding that stretch in the front of your right leg. Press into the top of your foot and your right leg. Think about your toes gripping into the mat of your left foot. Think about lifting your chest up, engaging your core here, and breathe. I love me. On that next exhale, lean your hips back, find your half split, micro bend in that leg, flex your foot, leaning hips back, and just allowing for that stretch to happen. On the next inhale, lean forward, find your low lunge, maybe add arms if that feels good. So arms to the sky. And then exhale, you could bring arms to the ground if that feels good. Straightening your leg. And then inhaling, arms to the sky. Low lunge. Exhaling, half split. Arms to the ground. One more time. To the sky, low lunge. Exhaling, hands to the floor, half split. Now you can move your hands to the right and bring your leg around and sit back on your heels again and just kind of feel the difference. Take a sip of water, whatever feels good here. Maybe just close your eyes and look inward for a couple of breaths. And then let's plant our hands in the mat, tuck our toes and find our downward facing dog. Bring our right foot in this time and raise our left to the sky. And then find that same space we did before, leaning forward, looking over the edge of our pool, rounding our back, bending our knee, and then bringing our foot as far forward as we can. If it doesn't quite make it, lower your back knee and move that left foot to the front of your mat. Now, lift up off of your back knee and then lift your chest up to the front, finding that low lunge but standing. Now, set your back heel down at a 45. If you need to take your back foot an inch or two to the right, do that. Now your left foot should be at that 45, both hips facing forward. Engage your core, tuck your hips here. Hands are on the hips, and if you feel strong, you can go ahead and lift them up overhead. Spread your fingers and turn on your arms if they're up. Shoulders away from ears. And breathe. And now straighten that front leg and bring that back leg in like 3 to 6 inches. If your blocks are handy, you can grab them and bring them like one on up either side of your leg. So realign yourself so that your hips are facing forward. And then hinge at the hips, lead with your chest, micro bend in that left leg. And then bring your hands to your blocks or to your shins, whatever's comfortable. And finding pyramid. So relaxing your neck, looking down at your toes. Hey guys, we saw you earlier. How's it going? Feeling good? Really think about that right foot that right hip coming forward. So even feeling like you have to almost twist it to come forward. Then bend your left leg and step your right foot forward. Now, stand up, circle your arms to the sky, and bring your hands to your heart center. And then plant that right foot, so feel into it, and step the left foot back to find your warrior one. Legs. So if you would like to start in low lunge to feel how deep you'd like to go, otherwise set that back heel down, maybe move your foot over a couple of inches, both hips facing forward, bend that right knee so it's in line with your ankle. Left foot, left hip forward, as forward as you can get it. When you're ready, you can go ahead and lift up your arms if that's feeling strong. Whole arms are turned on. Biceps, forearms, fingers. Shoulders away from ears. Engage your core here. And then on the exhale, go ahead and straighten that right leg. Maybe bring that back foot in a couple of inches. And then begin to lower, leading with your chest. Hands can come to your block or to your thigh. Think about the back of your right leg, really feeling a deep stretch. So left hip coming forward. So think about that left hip coming forward. Relax your neck. Look down. Look at your toes. Say hi to them too, because you said it to the left. What's up? How's it going? Left hip forward. And then on the next inhale, bend your knee and bring your left foot to meet your right. And shake it out. Shake it out. All right, circle your arms to the sky, hands to touch, and then forward fold all the way back down. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. And plant your hands to the mat. Bring your feet to the back of your mat. Plant your knees. Lower down halfway for your chaturanga. Inhale for upward facing. Exhale for downward facing. Plant your left foot, right foot up for three-legged dog. Right hip in line with left. And then find that space, bend your knee, and bring that right foot forward. Now, if you need to, you can set your left foot on the floor and then bring it forward. And then lift your left leg and plant your left foot and find warrior two legs. Engage your core and lift your chest so that it's facing the long edge of your mat. So bend that right knee, thinking about knee in line with ankle. Take your hands to your hips, sass them, move them to the right, to the left. Find that perfect alignment so that your hands are the same height. Tuck your hips, engage your core here. Think about that right knee opening up for warrior two. And now scrunch or press your shoulder blades together. down and back, and then extend your arms. Look to the right, find that drishti, that gaze to the middle finger of your right hand. Shoulders down and away from your ears. And breathe here. Engage your core. Think about that knee coming in, and breathe. Straighten that right leg. You can hop that left foot in like 3 inches if you'd like. Sash your hips to the left, finding a deep sass. And then lean forward. You can even extend that right arm and then place your left on your left hip. Extend, extend, extend until you can't extend anymore. And then maybe even find a block on the ground and triangle. So right leg has a micro bend, and the left arm is on your hip. And think about your left shoulder really going to the sky. Maybe you look up to the sky, and think about your chest opening up to the sky. So breathe here. You should feel a deep stretch in the inside of your right leg. And then bend your right knee and move your block to the outer. And you can even press into it as you bring your left leg to the front. Shake out your right leg. Now plant your left and just step your right back, finding that warrior two stance. So that back foot is in line with the back edge of the mat. Left foot is in line with the long edge of the mat. Your chest is facing the long edge of your mat. Bend your left knee so that it's in line with your ankle. Sass hips, find alignment. Lift your chest, engage your core here. And then pinch your shoulder blades together and extend arms out to either side. Look over your left shoulder, shoulders away from ears. Find that drishti, that middle finger gaze. And then straighten your left leg and bring your right hand to your right hip and sass that right hip. You can even bring that right leg in just a smidge. Sass the right hip and come forward, micro bend in the left leg just to give some stability, and then bring that left hand down once you've reached your edge. And let's find that openness in our chest again. So think about looking to the sky or looking down, whatever feels good on your neck. But still thinking about your chest opening up to the sky. Right elbow is like facing behind, shoulder away from ear. And then deepening the stretch by just like thinking about that hinge in your hips. So maybe even like sticking your hips out to the side even more if that feels good. And breathe. That whole inner thigh should really feel stretched. Then bend your left leg, move your block, and step your right foot forward to the top of your mat, and you can shake out your leg. And let's find the ground. So go ahead and sit down. And you can find a bolster or a pillow or something if you'd like. And extend your legs out in front to find staff pose. So flex your feet. This should turn on your calves. Engage your quadriceps, kind of like you see your knees shift even. Engage that pelvic floor, that mula bandha, almost like you're doing a kegel. Engage your core, and then lift your chest, roll your shoulders down and back. You can place your hands by your hips. Tuck your chin. Everything should be turned on. Even press your hands into the mat. And think about that long line of energy coming from your pelvic floor all the way up your spine and out of your head. I am love. I love me. I love me. And then relax, go ahead and forward fold, reach for your toes or for your shins. Relax your feet, just let this one be passive. This is a good stretch for watching TV or just relaxing at the end of your day. You could always take your legs a little bit wider if you feel you need a little bit of extra space. I like to do that for my belly. I feel like even passively I can get a little bit deeper. And then press back up or lift your chest. Bring your feet in for butterfly. So soles of the feet to touch. And maybe just like shimmy a little bit, finding that sweet spot. If this is tight, your knees are up. Take your feet in front. So move them forward about 6 inches. And so it makes more of a diamond shape. So do that butterfly, whatever feels good to you. Lift up your chest, hinge from the hips. And you could even press your knees or press your elbows into your knees as you kind of hold your feet. And then when you've reached your edge, go ahead and just allow your body to drape. You could even just set the tops of your hands onto the mat and let your palms face up. Couple of deep breaths here. I love me. And then press your hands into the mat and lift your chest up. And let's find our back. So move your bolster or pillow out of the way if you were using one. And then on your back, bend your knees and plant your feet into the mat. So here you can begin to rock your knees from side to side, coming up onto like the edge of your feet as you rock, and then just gently like allowing your back to settle. You can bring your arms up by your head, like have a diamond shape if that feels good, or you can have them by your sides. Just relax. And then if it feels good on one side, go ahead and stay there for a breath. If it feels good on the other side, do the same. And then let's try reclined butterfly. So as you're on your back, bring the soles of your feet to touch. Same pose, just allowing gravity to do the job here. If this is pinchy on your back, then just extend your legs out in front. So this is a nice passive stretch too. Just taking those deep breaths in, finding that affirmation. And then your right foot finding the edge of your mat, your left foot finding it. And then your arms could be by your sides or overhead. Just try to keep them away from your ears. So if they're down by your side, it makes it easier to just kind of tuck your shoulders under your chest. Your chest will lift a little bit and allow for that natural curve of the spine. Tuck your chin. Unclench your jaw, palms facing up. Take a couple of deep breaths just to seal in your practice. And then find a little bit more softness here. So even if you want to just kind of scan your body and maybe do a little wiggle in each little area, just finding softness. So melting into the mat that much more, wherever you're holding tension. So a lot of times it's the ears, the shoulders, the fingers, hips. Find that space and melt. So feeling more of the mat. And then in this final rest about nothing. You probably have a ton of stuff you have to do after this, but these last couple of minutes, as the thoughts come up, just mark them as later, and then as you exhale, imagine them just kind of drifting away. And then think about your favorite color, let that fill your mind. Maybe it turns into a silk sheet, so as you breathe, you can see ripples in the sheet, and focus on that. And maybe even you see a word on the sheet, and it says, I love me. So just sealing in the practice for your Savasana. Find some awareness in your breath. Wiggle your fingers and your toes. Circle out your wrists, your ankles. Roll over onto one side. Allow your heart to melt for a breath. And then press your hand into the floor and lift your torso up. Find a comfortable seat. Keep your eyes closed. that grounding feeling that I love me. Take a deep breath in that and just thank yourself for showing up today on your mat and working so hard. And then bring your hands to your sternum, maybe in a prayer, and thumb touching your chest, and then lift so that your thumbs touch your third eye. The divine light inside of me honors the divine light inside of you. Namaste. And fold or bow. Yay! You're welcome. How did that feel? Okay. Yay. Good. Yeah. Do you feel like you got a pretty good workout? I know you ran this morning. Awesome. All right. Well, I will see you next week then, and I'll send you your homework and the recording.